Live there in Huddle. Now we wait very patiently. Hey, there's that update. Okay, we've got it. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
We're not yet live, but we're like we're half alive. Okay,
You know
I might.
who's super? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just gonna kick us live right now.
Yeah, dude.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that our friend Raphael was super helpful in figuring
Nice.
out the cookie situation. He's dealt with this though with a different backend before, so at least getting things set and everything.
Yeah.
On the front end, it was like very. His guidance was invaluable, I would say.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's a good shout out. Yeah. I only had a little bit of correspondence with him, and then we've like commented back and forth a couple of times. But he always seems like he's on pretty on top of it. He's very knowledgeable. It seems like.
Yes.
It'd be cool to work with him on something. Maybe if we need another developer on our super secret startup project.
Hey, there's a way for
he's
us to list
available.
that. Did you know that on LinkedIn there's a stealth startup feature?
I added it
Have you seen that?
yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I added
Okay.
it yesterday. Yep.
I'm gonna do that too. I was looking through like, oh, I've seen this before. My silly self, I just always thought that that was the name of a startup.
Yeah.
And then I saw so many different people from different places in my life. I was like, they're not all working at this startup, are they?
Yeah. I figured we did so much work on that project that I wanted to get it on my LinkedIn and added it to my resume as well to gain the benefit of having gone through that experience, because learned a lot, did a lot.
Yes.
I'm looking forward for where it goes in the future as well. We should probably connect
Cool.
sometime soon to do some system design on
Yes, we should.
our next version. Anyways, hello everybody. I feel very much like that the classic. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to another episode of Upskill and Chill. Courtney, how are you doing today?
I am great. I don't know. I'm cool.
Are you tired of
Happy.
eating cookies yet, or you still got an
Man,
appetite?
I'm definitely tired of looking at them and handling them. I'll tell you that. No, I haven't even eaten any cookies yet. That's the worst part of it. I love cookies. I'm a big chocolate chip guy.
Yeah,
Um,
classic.
no, I feel better now. Honestly, working through that whole saga was exhausting in the moment, and I definitely right before I found the final answer that unlocked everything, I had that moment of like, is it time to not use cookies and to do something else? Is it time to redesign my whole concept of
Is it time to rethink all of my life decisions that led me to this point? Sell
Yeah, you know
everything that
what?
I have, move somewhere
Forget it all.
different, go build a cabin in the woods.
And then you figure it out, and you're like, nah, never mind, forget all that.
Nah, I'm a genius. What
Yeah.
was I worried about? I'm great at this.
Oh yes, a genius. I'm somewhere on the spectrum of genius. I'm sure. I'm somewhere. How about you, Spencer? How you feeling?
I'm actually feeling pretty good today. The last couple days were a little frustrating. At Nebulae, I've been working on this third-party escrow integration for our platform. Driving the bus on that one, and it's cool. I've done a lot of good front-end work to get in that direction. And in the last couple of days, I finally got to the point where I needed to start tackling the back-end portion. And I set stuff up. I was feeling pretty good about it, confident, and then ran into some issues with things just not communicating between our backend and the escrow.com API. Reached out to their team, and then I just had to like step away because I just had to wait for a response from an email, which just felt bad. And I had other things to like take care of, but I wanted to make progress on that. And then
It's a
they
big
got
money move. I like that you'll actually like reach out to teams. Like, you know what? Forget you don't have the documentation. I'm going to the source.
Yeah, I looked all over the documentation, and the problem, as we discussed previously, is that for some reason, escrow.com, they have great documentation actually, and they have code examples for all of their API endpoints and all their calls and everything that you can do on this platform in 5 different languages. but JavaScript is not one of them for some reason, which I don't understand how you would not have JavaScript on a web-based API. I don't know.
Strange, strange
So
indeed.
ChatGPT was not able to accurately translate the Python code into JavaScript for me from their example. So I went to the source, and Renita was awesome and got me back a working example in JavaScript, and now it works. So one step closer to that whole process. So that was my success for today, and left me feeling pretty happy. Especially since I'm less experienced on the back end, and it's a skill set
Mm.
that I've been really wanting to develop. And this is just kind of like, you know, hey Spencer, add this to our platform. Like, okay, boss, I'll get right on that. And I guess I have to build out an entire, endpoint on our back end to do all these different calls for transactions and yada yada yada. So it's a good place to learn, and it was actually pretty fun to take my shot at it and like come out successful. I'm feeling happy about that. So uh, for our project now, we are back yet again. Last we convened, we did a few front end upgrades, and then we were working on that server action.
Yes.
Is what you were working us through to getting that working on our form, if I'm not mistaken.
I
I'm ha-
don't think you are mistaken.
I'm having a hard time remembering a week ago. But so before the stream started, we discussed what our next step might be, and Courtney reminded me that we needed to be able to clear our form after we submit it for a task. And previously, we had that working when the form was all client side, and we were controlling all the state with React hooks, and um, pretty simple process for just clearing the form after successful submission. However, now we've shifted over to the server side and server components with everything, and server actions, uh, which means we're no longer controlling the components. So we don't control the state to be able to reset the form. So how do we do that? I did a little search and found a pretty nifty little example that just cuts right to what we're looking for, and it's just using a reset method on the form element, which led to a small discussion. I know I'm talking a lot here, but I just thought it was interesting, so I'd state it for the show because we tend to talk before the show about all this stuff, and might as well turn it into content. Well, um, where obviously with this push, like this is new stuff, so not everything's going this way, but this new form of server actions um, is pushing a lot of the computation back onto the server side, where over the last many years, the push has been largely on the client side, because that's what gives you the nice reactivity, right? That was the whole point of React, is that now it feels like a native application on your computer because it can update in real time, nice animations, all that stuff. Um, but then that bloats the package that you're sending to the client computer on initial hit of your website. So now we're going back to server side, and it's funny that like now we're like going full circle back around to like handling things like this the way they it was designed to in the first place before client side was even a thing, right? Like this form component or this form element has had this reset method sitting on it for years, and it's gotten very lonely, I'm sure, because everybody's just resetting forms in React state. Nobody's touching it, and now we're back to it again. So I just find that cyclical nature of the process to be very interesting. Um, I will take a break from speaking now, and
No, no, keep cooking,
uh,
Professor. I like it.
uh, I'm
I
just
mean,
trying to lay the groundwork for our
yeah,
many viewers.
no, this makes sense. And this is kind of like, I feel like the what has become the project of this particular repo and this project is like, we at first it's just build a to do app in Next, and then we decided, oh well, we want to maybe build some API routes in Next, so utilizing its full stack functionality. And speaking for myself, I'm sure for you as well, what has happened is realizing like just how deep Next is going into this full stack paradigm, and it's really different, I would say, than like I've built things with Django before and other full stack frameworks, and it's just it's a different way to look at it because it's not at least I think the way that Next app router right now is opinionated on the subject. It's not necessarily about just like building API routes within your app. It's like utilizing the right approach depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So, for instance, right now we have we have a function called get tasks that runs on our tasks page when we it's not the right word, but like when we mount it, essentially when we navigate to it, and it just queries our database and sends back the task list. But we're making a fetch call when we do that. Whereas I think like the more modern way to think about it would be to directly hit the database. Since it's a server component,
Hmm.
it already has the ability to communicate safely with our database directly as well. And there's no need to necessarily perform a fetch call. So that could be a thing that we look into eventually. Is because we're already using Prisma, right? Did we set that up
Yes.
here? Yes, we did.
Yes.
So that's the kind of thing that we might consider changing in the future.
Oh, I think okay. Let me see if I follow you. We're making a
Hmm.
fetch call to our own API, which is
Yeah,
already in our next project.
correct.
But that's because this used to be a client component. So the
Hmm.
idea originally, this component was running on the local machine. That fetch call hit our backend, which then hit which acted as an intermediary to our database.
Hmm.
But by making this a server component, this component is already on the server. So it's like our server is calling our server to call our
Our
database.
database. Whereas
Ah,
we could
okay.
just, from this server component, directly query our database, return the info before, and then send all that,
Yeah,
is essentially what we're already doing, I think, with an extra step. Um,
yeah. Okay.
so
That's a
there's
good
that, and then there's also how do we do all the rest of what we've been doing? How are we adding entries to our to do list? How are we deleting entries from our to do list? I mean, this project has like really opened my eyes to what can be done, and also what cannot be done, or at least what it thinks cannot be done.
what should not be done maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an
Um,
interesting
so yeah,
realization that you made there. Okay, yeah, I didn't even get so far as to think about that, but yeah, you're right. So the idea would be our get tasks function. We could extract that to like our lib folder, a file there, and then just make it call Prisma directly, like
yeah,
like the API task endpoint in our backend already does, right? But so
yeah.
wh- where would we actually do? Maybe you just want to do this. Like, where are we actually going to make
Sure.
the call? What do we eliminate? I'm very curious about this.
Let's give it a try, shall we? First, let's do what you were talking about, which is remove this function to our actions library. I'm gonna put this at the top. I don't know why, but Git always feels like it should go at the top to me.
It's the first thing that happens on the load, so that makes sense.
Exactly. And we'll leave this one here for now because I think we'll redo what this is. Um, so let's remove try catch for a moment. Um, so yeah, we'll need to import Prisma, which we haven't touched in a while. Good to see you, Prisma.
Okay.
Gosh, I honestly can't even remember how this works.
How much of this do we or could we just copy over from our API task, our get endpoint that we've already created?
Oh, let me see.
I mean, I imagine it's gonna do the same thing. We're just taking out the intermediary step, right?
I think it might be even simpler than this because we're no longer making a request response.
Right.
So I
I,
could
I
take this
yeah, I think
for
that's
sure,
yeah,
and all I need is Prisma, right? Yeah. Oop,
Prisma
wrong one.
client. Yep.
Okay. let's just get rid of all this. And then it's like return tasks, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Is that it?
That
Like,
that
could
yeah.
it even be as simple as
Make it a one-liner. Here we go.
let's see. I'm not sure if this works right or correctly. I mean, but we'll find
All
out.
right. Why not?
Okay, so now let's go ahead and export this. There's a pattern I want to adopt, by the way, that I really liked from our super secret project. That you created essentially a large function that has access to the other functions. So it's um, like when we like here, I would just import the larger function. For instance, it would be
You
like,
can just throw that on there. Why not? You could just make that
well,
in action. Oh, sorry.
let me do this first, and then we'll
Okay. Sure.
before getting too complicated here.
Yeah, I'm not going to take credit for that pattern.
Hmm.
I learned that from the Nebulae code base. They have a bunch of APIs built to do different things with a bunch of these, actions essentially, and you just
I
bring it
see.
all in from one function like you're talking about, and then destructure the function that you want to use out of that group of functions and
Okay.
get to.
So what does it not like about what I just did? Type string or null is not a song. Okay, string or null. Why would it be string or null now? Always a new thing, isn't there?
Do we have to check out the Prisma schema? Because
Uh,
now we're coming back directly
okay,
from
let's do that.
Prisma.
Way back. Yeah, each task has an ID, a task name,
So
description.
the description is optional there. What was it
Yes.
having a problem with?
It's let's read that first.
Task
Is not assignable to parameter of type ID string task name.
types of parameters, task, and value are incompatible.
Okay. Okay, let's do this.
So what are we getting back from that action?
I guess this probably won't even render, will it?
Just you could just comment out the map at the bottom there.
Oh, that's a good idea. Although I guess this is actually showing me. Okay, here we go. So we're getting an array of tasks.
Okay.
That's what we expect. And it is showing up correctly here. These are our tasks. So what is the problem then? It says, okay, yeah, it is showing this. Oh, is it this again? Type ID string, description string, null, priority.
Description are incompatible. Type string or null. Yeah, so I think it's the
Okay.
fact that it's optional, so it might not exist. So on the task.id for the key there, can you just put task .id? Does that help?
No.
Maybe is it an issue within task itself, the task component? Do we
Well, it
need
looks like types of property description are incompatible. So what? String or null is not assignable to type string or undefined. Okay, so maybe we've kind of crossed our. Hold on, where is this? So this would technically be string or undefined, right? Because it's either a string or it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay.
But we have said in the schema.
I think it's the task props schema. So if you go into task.tsx, it's 2 tabs to
Oh,
your
okay.
right. I think if we look at the props there, then the task type, yeah. Maybe we have to open up the task type then.
That's what I'm saying. So that comes from here. Here's
Oh,
our
okay.
task. And I think it's
Sorry.
because, oh no, you're all good. We're saying it's optional, which means that this actually evaluates to like string or undefined.
Hmm.
I think it either exists and it's a string, or it doesn't exist, which means it's undefined. So maybe does this fix it? If I just go no, it does fix it.
Do we have to do the ID as well?
It does not have a problem with that. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're back to Cope 7.
So okay, so we were getting a wait. I'm confused as to why that was. Or I'm missing a single step in there somewhere because.
So let me undo this real quick. Let's take a look at what the error was again.
So
So
what
the
we're getting,
parameters of task. Uh-huh.
description, string or null is what we're receiving there at the top, right?
Oh, is it because on task? Gosh. Oh no, I thought we said maybe an default. Oh yeah, here, right here. This is maybe why. So maybe if I
Can
do
we do that to
description,
description?
does this fix it? No, does not fix it.
Okay, yeah, that is a much more local thing. I think you're right about what you're doing. I'm just trying to figure out what were we getting and from where and because we're getting string or null, we're receiving that from Prisma somehow. But our type says string or undefined, so that you're explicitly saying it's string or null to match the thing that we're receiving.
Oh yeah, you're saying where does this come from?
Yeah,
That's a great question. I have a feeling it comes from Prisma, right?
yeah,
Because
but
like, what's this?
the Prisma schema had it set up as string or undefined, right? Like, so if you hover description, the question mark description there, so this
Yeah,
says string or undefined, and then if you
this
go
is
to the
our type. But if we go to
schema.prisma, this,
so the question
so
is, what
yeah,
does this evaluate to? So let me ask.
yeah, is that string or null? That's what I'm thinking.
What are we using? We're using a Postgres database. PostgreSQL, Prisma, optional fields evaluate to what if
Sorry,
present.
we found the solution, and now I'm spending more time here. But like, I really want to understand.
Let's try this first. I think I saw the answer there for a second. Uh, Hold on. For optional. Uh,
Modifier makes a field optional.
cannot be used with a list. Okay. The behavior field, a block. Two ways to add attributes to data attributes. Okay, block.
What does it actually boil down to, though?
Hold on, let me go back real quick. Fields with unsupported types are not available. Okay, if a model contains a requirement. Okay, never mind. That's not what I was looking for. Setting an optional foreign key. No. This might require a little more looking into, but I think your intuition here is correct. I think maybe because ID is not optional at the level of task. I mean, sorry, at the level of inputting it into the database, right? We're always going to generate
Yeah.
a UUID, and the reason that it's optional in, what's funny is the reason that it was optional in our type that we just didn't have an ID when we were still writing the task.
Right. Well, the database is setting the ID, so but we had to include it here.
But like, we don't need that anymore, huh? Was that that was because we were doing controlled components, and we needed to use the task type, but we didn't have an ID available at the level of
Oh,
the form component, right? I think that
okay.
was
Yeah,
maybe the deal.
you might be right there. So
Let's
then,
try that.
the so yeah, the description or null. So I mean, this to me it means that like if changing that type means success, then that means what we're receiving is string or null.
Oh, I guess our default task.
Like it doesn't have an ID. I
I
think it's
suppose we would always just set that, right? Oh, are we even using default task right now?
we might not be.
No, we're not. It's grayed out. It's declared, but its value is never read. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave this for now. We might need this
Okay,
in a minute, but okay.
sure. Okay, okay.
Let's double
Yeah,
check with the app.
yeah. I think Prisma is sending us string or null somehow, and our local type didn't like because ours defined to string or undefined.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure in MongoDB, if a field is optional and doesn't exist on a particular document, that actually evaluates to undefined. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Mostly because I ran into that on our project.
I mean,
Uh,
usually, yeah. That's yeah. Okay. All right. Moving forward, we
but
solved it.
yeah, moving forward,
We think
the
we understand it.
tasks work. We do get all our tasks, and we are correctly getting them from this one-liner. I love that. I
Fantastic.
love the one-liner. So let me do a thing real quick. I'm gonna clean up a bunch of this because
Yeah.
there's way more purple in here, or rather comments, I should say, than not.
Yeah.
Like we've reduced the code to this.
Yeah. The front end code. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, this
That's
is
a good
still a
point.
server component, so it's not even front end code still.
But this used to be full of things, and now here we
Yeah.
are.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm also going to get rid of this trash icon. We don't use that here.
It was trash
I'm a big,
anyways.
I'm a big fan of cleaning these things up. I don't know if you could tell,
Eventually,
but
yes. Yeah.
it's very hard to read some things, and it's nice when things are nice and tidy. I guess it's my, I don't know if that's OCD or something else. Okay.
Do we want to eliminate all these those comments too? Value on change, all that stuff? Because I mean,
I was thinking about it, but we're about to. Oh, I guess we're not doing that. We're not going to. Let's hold on to them as we convert into
okay,
a
I see
form
what
component.
you're thinking. Yeah.
But if we don't need them from there, I'm definitely down to get rid.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Let me commit.
Okay. So we have taken out an unnecessary fetch call. We eliminated that whole function from this component, and we also eliminated we need to take out the get endpoint from our router.
Yes. And then moved
Sorry.
tasks. No worries. To action TS and converted to direct. Save it. Okay. Do you want to take over, or do you want me to keep piloting? I'm fine either way.
I can. Let me see. What time is it? Yeah, I could jump in and do the. I mean, unless you want to, you're already there, and you can just move the component over. I'm fine with that as well. I don't have to do the clicky clack, but
Okay, I'll hang here and keep doing this. Just want, if you wanted a chance, just wanted to throw it out there. Okay. So in this case, we need to create a separate component. Is that right? And this will be
yeah,
in the to-do folder, I think.
we can just make I don't know what form. Just
Uh,
call it form.
to-do form,
To do
or
form. Yeah, sure.
yeah. All right. Default. Okay, and then we'll come back to the page, I think, after. Oh, actually, I need it right now. What am I saying? Let's do it like this. Okay, so what needs to be brought in? That means we need.
Don't forget your return with the
Oh,
parentheses.
thank you.
It's not going to be happy with you.
It's never happy with me. All right. Let's do that. Ooh, one too many. Here we go. Also, why is everything so dreadfully spaced right now? I don't know why that happens. Does that happen on your side, or is Vim perfect in every way on this?
I have a built-in formatter plugin in my NeoVim config, which you can have in your VS Code as well. I just have Prettier set up with some defaults that just kind of snaps everything to where I want it.
I should probably do that. Oh,
I,
and
I
I see that we didn't use absolute imports on this, so
oh no,
I started doing that even when it is this close, just
yeah,
to,
every
you
time
know.
absolute imports everything.
Yeah, I know you're an evangelist on this, and rightly so. It actually like really works a lot better. See, like how much were we really saving not having @/app? Cool. Components. That's those two. We need button as
I
well.
mean, I've had to in projects in the past. I've decided to make some sort of a file restructure because where I put things originally, I learned something new and was like, oh man, these files really don't. It doesn't make sense for them to be here. They should be over here in the project directory, the project tree, right? And if you have absolute paths, you can just move your files and be done. But if you don't, then it's a whole job to just rework all of your imports, which is just annoying.
I guess we still need add task, so I'm gonna do that. Uh, I know I should probably spend a day doing a little more configuration of my VS Code. I do too much manually still.
I was just having the thought that I would love to convert you to a NeoVim user because
I know you
I
would.
think you'd really like it. Um, but maybe what we could do for an episode, or we don't have to do it on the air, but uh, it, we could have a call and you could just start using Vim motions in your VS Code, and I think even just that would make you a happy camper.
Oh, I'd be open to that. That sounds cool.
It's just a plugin you put in there, and then you can configure it with a bunch of additional shorthand shortcuts if you want, like custom built. And I know how to do that. That's how I started with my journey into NeoVim. Is that I got the Vim Motions plugin in my VS Code first, and
Mm-hmm.
fell in absolute love with that method for navigating my code files. And I had to have more, and then I went full NeoVim config. It's lovely. The snappy, like the ability to just go like move your cursor exactly to where you want to be with a key press. You'll never go back.
I believe that. I have a friend that's also very into it. He swears that he's never had wrist issues from a long career in coding because he's always used Vim. Um, avoid it, like the mouse is where a lot of people get a lot of wrist
Yep.
issues.
Yep.
So it seems. We got the form. Okay, so now we just need to change the action up a little bit. Okay, let's try this. It's a little weird to me, but honestly, it's all weird. Uh,
I mean, you could extract that if you wanted to like a handler function as well. I mean, sometimes when something's this small, I think it'd be fine to do it in line like they have there. I don't think that's a problem.
is it? Well, I was wondering if an action slot works the same. Do you
Oh,
know what I mean? Like,
you like put a handler function in here, maybe wouldn't work.
yeah, I'm not sure it might, but
Mm,
gosh,
I don't know.
don't need this. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to await that task. Form data. Well, seems to be happy about that thus far. And then
we need to bring in the ref and everything. Yeah.
Dot reset. Ref. Oh, wait, hold on. They named theirs ref. I named mine form. All is right with the world again. Okay, cool. And then let's clean this up a bit. Put you here. Get rid of this. Okay. So if all is to work the way that we intend, when we add a new task, it'll still take the form data like before and perform all those functions from the server action. But then also, we should be able to reset the form itself. And the whole reason, again, we were doing this is so that when one is entering something, I haven't imported. Like, let's see here. Import. What do I call it? To-do form. Absolute imports. Lost my train of thought on what I was saying, but I'm sure it'll become apparent anyway.
You're just walking us through why we were doing this in the first place, why we're adding the reset. And then you went to the front end to demo what you were thinking, and then there was no form.
That's right. That's right. The whole reason we were doing this is to be able to clear the form, which I will show as soon as I put it in here. And I guess we can just slot it right into where the form used to be. Didn't change any styling or anything like that.
Plug and play.
No problems. Good start. Are we unhappy about this?
Nah,
No,
I think
we're not unhappy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so let's add a task. Reset form field. We'll make this the highest priority. Okay. Yeah, it did work. Priority went back to low. Task.
Yeah.
Reset, and here it is down here.
Nice.
Wow, I was expecting so many more issues than that.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
very good.
And all we really did was pull out the form and then anything that the form needed from our page, turn it into a client component, and then all for this. Really for this.
For the hook.
Use ref hook. Yeah, exactly.
But this is the islands of interactivity, right? That people talk about in this new SSR paradigm, where everything used to be client side, but now you generate the majority of what you're looking at on the server side, and then like our form here is interactive. So that little island on the screen is now a use client component, and that just reduces how much stuff is sent to how much JavaScript code is sent to the client on page load and all that to make things faster. And that's cool.
And one thing I was thinking is, why hasn't this been an issue for me before using server actions on a form in other places? And I think the reason is, like what I've been building lately on my own project is login, register, and these come with like a redirect involved, right? If I enter my information, I log in, and it's successful, I'm not staying on the login page. So there's no reason to manually reset. In fact, it's almost better not to in that case, because you want to leave the state in case something went wrong, or that's a potential design decision. But for us, the form is actually an interactive piece of UI, right? I mean, it's like the tool on this side.
So my only question, I think it should.
Yay!
We need to get some loading state, because we don't have loading on submit and we don't have loading on delete, and it's just kind of click and then did anything happen, right?
You wanna take over that?
Sure, I could check that out. The other thing I was going to say though, before we move on from this real quick, the form reset, should the form only reset if the call is successful? If we get an error, don't make somebody like suddenly like I type up 5 sentences of a description because it was a really detailed task, and I submit and it clears and then it fails and I want to try it again. Right? That's like a frustrating situation. So
So,
can we try
okay.
catch it?
So, does that work in here? Let's see.
It looks like a normal function to me. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. And if getting more complicated like this, do we want to try extracting it to a handler function?
Oh, it does seem to work. I was thinking about a handler function. That would maybe be a responsible thing to do.
So,
How do you handle what happens in the catch? I've traditionally done a console log in here, but
console
maybe.
log or console.error.
Oh yeah, there you go. Let's do that.
And then we don't have any like form validation messaging on our form and whatnot yet. But this is where in that catch, if we did encounter an error, we would want to set the state, like the red text that pops up underneath your form or underneath the submit button. We would
Okay.
want to set that state here with a message from the error that we get in the catch block.
So potentially that would be something that exists like down here.
Yeah, like right underneath the button. Like we would probably put the button because it's not already. Yeah, the button and the error, the like hidden error thing would go inside of its own div so that they can be paired together. And then the error message div would only render if there is an error. Or no,
Right.
when that state when the error state is updated, when it's populated, and then we would like set error, and then it would render when error gets set, and then it would display it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Just a little use state, set, and display.
And then I will do what you asked now, which is get rid of all this.
Yeah. Did you want to move that out to a handler function, or are you cool with it being the way it is?
Let me take another look. Yeah, let's move it. I actually want to move it for a separate reason right now, which is I just want to see if I can get this part to work
Yeah.
in a handler function. I don't
Yeah.
see why not, but that would be a big or a very interesting learning moment here
It'd be a
because
good piece of
this is not
information to
something I
have.
knew about. Yeah, yeah. Here, let's try. So just say like, I guess handle submit, right?
Yeah. Handle submit, submit handler, whatever.
Okay. And then this is also a sync function. Then we'll just take all this meat out. Okay. And then does that mean we have to do it like this, where it's like handle submit form data? Oh, jeez.
I guess
or is
so.
the idea?
I think I would. I think you could do now if you're gonna pass. Oh, maybe try it that way. Let's try it that way first because that's the most minimal.
It's not mad at us yet.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see if that works.
Test form submit functionality. Specifically, the handler works. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to mind that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There we go.
That's great to know. So
because
we can actually
the form data is just default passed into the function, just like it was when it was inlined. So we don't have to restate that there by doing like an arrow function and then getting the form data and then passing the form data into handle submit to get it. You know what I mean? Like you have to do that sometimes if you're passing stuff to functions in React. But yeah, I think this clearly this pattern works just fine. I think that's great.
That's fantastic. And interesting that we can run an action in here that is just a
it's just a function.
It's a function that we've defined. I guess it is an async function too. Does that matter? I don't know. Because let me make sure. Yeah, these are all tagged with use server. So these are in fact server functions. Okay, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and commit all of this. Wait, what else did I change? Oh, I added the to-do for. Sure. Form into component, sets, and submit. All right. Okay, let me go ahead and merge those changes. Thus, we're so productive today.
This is feeling good.
This is so satisfying compared to what I've dealt with last week. Okay, and branch merged. Master is updated. Spencer, you have the con. Or the bridge, I suppose.
Okay. I'm just looking at, because we were talking about some loading state, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very curious what the, like, how does this work? What are we supposed to be doing?
Yeah, that'll be the interesting part. Let's see. So let me get your changes. Okay. Okay. And
While Spencer's doing that, one thing I want to share on screen that he mentioned before our call here, before we went live rather, is that we had built our app with everything going inside the app folder except for Prisma. But one thing to consider is that really the only thing that should go inside the app are actual routes. So one project we may have, if we just want this to look a little more official or what have you, would be to pull out like our API into the SRC folder. That's probably, speaking out loud here, why we can't fetch from our API routes with the abbreviated URL the way that you're supposed to be able to with Next. I'm just realizing. But we'd probably pull out a few of these things. We can pull out our constants. The constants themselves can live outside of the app. Let me see, hooks. Probably our hooks as well. Our library and our types could all be pulled into the SRC folder, not the app folder. So it would be the same level as the app. Because anything inside of app should really be something that we plan to hit with a route. Meaning, if I navigate to, let's close all these. Should really just be like to-do, maps, and I think that's everything. There's a case to be made for components. They don't need to be in there, but probably what we should do, or I believe what is convention, is that if a folder is not meant to be hit by routes inside of App Router, but does live in there for organizational purposes, you would rename it with an underscore in front. That sort of indicates like, oh, this is not meant to be a route. I'm unsure if that actually functionally changes the way it works, but I've read in the Next documentation that that's sort of a pattern that one uses. For instance, one way that people seem to actually organize their components is sometimes they actually create component folders for each route. So like we have several components in our folder that only exist inside of like the to-do list. Like here we kind of just put all components in a massive component folder, and then we have like a to-do folder, for instance. But like these could potentially, depending on how you want to organize it, live inside our to-do folder, and then you'd see like our map, like the marker and Google Map components could live inside component folder and maps and such. I don't know. It's really that at that point it seems a little bit more up to people's specific like way that they think about it or the way that they want to organize it. But definitely for hooks, library, constants, we and API, we'll probably want to move those into SRC, same level as app eventually.
Yeah, agreed.
Food for thought.
Okay. So let's see. I was doing a little research. I want to get first to do loading state. We need something to indicate loading state. So I wanted to find a spinner, and we have. Let's see, where do we have our icon? Our icons. Here we go. So I think we want to do spinner gap, and we launder that through our icons TSX.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring that in. We're going to import that. No, this is a use client, so this we don't need to launder it here, right? But are we just following that pattern no matter what?
Well, are there places where we would want to use it that are not
Well,
client?
where was? Let's see. Maybe I don't know. Oops. Oops. I need to do a different. I need grep search. So yeah, let's see. Trash icon button.
Right, because this is
This is a yeah.
server component.
But then our icon button is use client. So this is how we did the pattern before, is by passing it into the client from. Oh, that's because we wanted it to be flexible, right? The icon button can have any sort of icon.
Yeah, I think probably you can import it the same way, just through that that like
I'm just
laundering
thinking.
service.
I'm thinking now that maybe we just want to build like a little like loading component.
Oh, okay.
Because this is going to be a few lines. So let me
Walk me through. So what are you thinking?
yeah. So we get rid of the label. We make this a button component. Oh, now it doesn't. Our button doesn't take in a child. Okay. Let's see. Can we go to here? So our button label. Okay.
You can pass it as an icon
because
inside of the.
See.
Or
Yeah,
as the label.
but the icon is just going to be there unless. Okay, so we have to make the idea was it says submit, you click it, submit is replaced by the loading spinner while it's loading, right? So I guess we could, because this is not a standard button. This is a custom button thing. So, okay, sorry, I was thinking about that differently. How you would do it with like over here we have this is the button. This is the HTML button, and you would have you'd have a ternary in here and saying if you're loading, then you're going to show the loading spinner, and if you're not, then you show the button text. Inside wrapped by the button tags. But since we're not doing that here, I think we do. Let's see, I want to reorder. If we're going to do this, let's just reorder this. I like to have type submit stuff like that first. We'll do late icon, and then in here, let's see our icon. Yes. So I want to do loading. Then we'll do what was it? Spinner gap. I think I still need to bring that in here the same way that we had done. Oh no, I'm confused as to where. Was it over here? Here we go. This is what I was looking for. We had the import. spinner gap. So we import that here, and then else null. Does that break? No, I think that's fine because our icon is optional in the button. I'm wondering, I'm curious to see if there's going to be a problem with this, because then here on, let's see, loading, then we'll display empty, otherwise we'll display submit. Yeah, now it can't find loading, obviously, so that's where we have to do a little bit of, and actually I like doing use state, so we'll go loading,
Perfect.
set loading, use state, and it'll be, no, what am I doing? False. So then we've got loading and use loading. Okay, here, this is the null is not assignable to React element.
But it could, also, could you just do, instead of ternary, just like loading and?
Yeah, that's, let's see. Type false is not assignable to React.
Why doesn't that?
I think, do we have to do we have to bracket it? No. Okay.
Well, why doesn't that work? That's weird. I thought, because we're not trying to assign loading. We're trying to assign what's after and, right?
Yeah. So this, I could do this, and that would fix it.
That seems to fix it.
Yeah. Is that acceptable?
Feels good to me.
Nah.
Until I hear otherwise.
It works. So there we're gonna have the loading. So now we have our, and it just and my formatter just like reformatted everything.
Looks nice.
That's yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Is your formatter what do you call it? Is it based off of our prettier file?
Do we have a prettier RC in here?
I thought we did.
Then yes, it will look for the prettier RC first. But maybe since you've had to like be manually formatting your code, maybe your prettier isn't turned on, or it isn't being used or something.
No, I think it is, but I utilize autosave, and I think prettier only activates if I manually hit save.
Oh, okay.
Which I never do, so that's probably why. I should do that.
Do you do Command S?
Yeah, that's the save.
Okay, that's what I do. Yeah, it should format on save. That's what mine does. So I'm.
Well, I never think to save because it's always saving on its own. So I'm not in the habit of that. But I have to remember.
Okay.
I can almost think of it as like my format command in a way.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Because realizing that we have a prettier RC means that our prettiers should be formatting everything identically.
Yeah, I think we set that up way at the beginning too. I remember using it before.
Yeah. So now we want to, when we're submitting, the first thing we want to do is set loading to true. And then if we are successful, put it right here, I think. We set it back to false.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if this throws an error, then these two lines get skipped and we go down to the catch block. To my understanding.
Right, which means the loading will still be occurring technically, or like, is that the case? Does this also mean we need to disable the button while this is happening?
We absolutely could. And we don't have disable set up in here right now. So I kind of feel like we should do a catch-all thing where we do, it's like props, or, okay, I just want to be able to like put, like anything I pass on here gets put in on the button, right? And I know I've seen that syntax, but now it's escaping my brain.
How do you mean? Anything
So
that's in here?
so I want to catch all. So we could go disabled equals loading.
Okay.
Uh, If loading is true, then we're disabled. Yeah. So we want it to be based off of loading, right?
Right.
So we could do that, but I don't want to add another like specific disabled prop. I would like to have a catch-all here that just takes like anything that doesn't match these, it will take and then just put on the button component. And I have seen that syntax recently, and I'm just trying to
Oh,
think
I see.
about. I think I'm
Well, it's like you want to just name it like catch all for now, just to see if you can get it working, and then
well,
just
yeah.
start relearning.
I don't even know.
Because like you'd pass it in the props, right?
Um,
And then it would just be then you would just yeah, I don't know. Do props on HTML elements? Do they work the same way? Um, like in an object, if you're trying to like set data and send it and stuff. Like I'm trying to look
Here,
for something here.
okay.
Like set loading. Oh, go ahead. Do your thing.
Oh, sorry. Um, can you rephrase your question or restate that? I was looking for something.
Like if you pass disabled, will it pass as the value as the property disabled equal to true? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it would be so much easier to
If
show.
loading is true.
Right. So like um though, like okay, so not let's step away from elements. Like in an object in JavaScript, let's say you're trying to build an object and you're using other data points, and I have, for instance, this set loading data point. Now, like the formal way to set that in that key and value in the object would be right set loading colon and then the actual value I want to set.
Hmm.
But a shorthand I can do is just write set loading, and that automatically knows that it's going to set the key to set loading, but then the value to whatever the
Right.
value
Okay.
already
Now I know
is.
what you're talking about. And
Yeah, yeah,
yes, the answer is yes. If I wanted to, if I did this,
yeah, yeah.
then it would go. It would. This would be true. Like if I had it over here, um, you know, just to let's there make it easy. If I had it here as a prop and I was using that within the component, and then that was a boolean that I was triggering something off of, then this would mean that it will be true. This means it's false.
I see.
If by
So
simply by passing
okay,
it, it would be true or false.
do you need to pass an array or something like that of two of like a label, like a property and a value for that property? Is that or I don't know if it needs
No,
to be an array, but like
what I'm trying to do, and I think I found the answer here,
oh yeah,
um, is let's see. I want to make sure that I'm okay. Let's see if this will work. So what I'm trying to do is have a catch-all. So if I go props here, let's see, or maybe it's props here. Parsing error. No, I don't know if I need it up here actually, but then it won't accept it there. So prop. Okay, they're not. Uh, this example doesn't have an interface involved. So what it's showing me is you do the spread props like this, and then on the button you can go props.
oh that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Or actually, wait.
You have to put in an object or whatever,
Oh,
right? Ooh,
that.
that is quite a nested object you've got there.
There we go. So like that. So it's
Yeah, that
gonna
makes sense.
put. So let's see. But now, binding pair may not have a trailing comma. Oh, now it's happy.
Oh,
That's fine. That's fine
now
now.
it likes it. Okay.
That's okay. So then, disabled.
Do you have to?
Label disabled boolean is not assignable to. Okay, property disabled does not exist.
Do you have to put it inside and like curly braces
So
on the button, on the custom button? I mean,
down here. No, I
like how does it work? I'm not sure.
yeah, like no, not the
No, never mind. Yeah. Okay.
the the pattern I've seen allows you to just kind of like you can set whatever props you want to here with values, and then the prop value. Um,
So maybe this is just a typing issue right now.
um, let's see if I can maybe find a better example.
This is interesting. I've actually needed to do this before.
Here, this has React and TypeScript in the title. Spreading props. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to
You don't just call it props, right, and give it an any or something like that.
just let me
Yeah.
I'm going to let's see. Um, fields props. Okay. Okay, I'm just bringing up the Nebulae code base because I know that I have
Nice.
seen this thing and it exists.
I love
So nothing exists in the interface here. It's in here. We spread props, and then we do this here on the input or on the button. You spread props in the thing like that.
How are those props passed then on
Yeah,
the button?
that is now. Oops, wrong. Okay. Let me find. Um, let me find an instance of. Yeah, and they're all just. Let's see. Anywhere that it's passed, it's just exactly how you would expect it to be passed. Except these are all. Let's see. All these props are being passed as strings. So far as I can. Oh no, I've got. Yeah, I've got stuff here, and I just did this. I did this myself. Was like the thing equal the prop name equals brackets and then the value passed into the. I wonder if this has to do with. I don't know. This is bizarre that it's not just because there's nothing in the interface about this. It's just like this is doing a rest, right? This is the
Yeah.
this is the rest, right? It's just everything else, right? These are the ones that are notated, and at the very end you can put this, and that's just like anything else, right? Um, Oh, 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 oh. Aha. I get it now. I see what's going on. Oops. Okay. So we bring in an extra type. That's the thing. We define a new type, which is a key, string, value of any,
Hmm.
and then we make a type, and they have it here as other props equals button props and field.
Oh, yeah, okay. I
And
see.
then this becomes other props, and it goes away. So
Very
yes,
cool.
we did. It wasn't. It's not in the interface itself because these are all explicitly labeled. Here, you're just making a new type that is just any field, right? It's going to be a key value, anything, and then you combine those as a type. So you have your
Why do you have to separate it out? I don't understand that.
um. That's a good question. I mean, what would it be here, right? I mean, it would be what
Oh, I see.
what
I
would it
see. I see.
be
Could you
on?
just put key string like that with in the bracket and like yeah that plus any?
Let's do. Yeah, that works.
I wonder if there's any there might be a strength to the other way you did it. I don't know why it just seems more organized to me to have
It
separate
is. I
types, but
mean, here, you're explicitly labeling your props, and then you've got this like separate catch-all as like a separate thing. I think it's just a little bit of organization of some sort. I think it's fine.
yeah, I think so too. I was just curious if that even worked.
Yeah. No, that was a good question. Because yeah, then what you're doing is you're saying the thing on the left side here is anything, right? It's a key.
Well, it'll be a string. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yes,
the key will
yes.
be a string.
The
Yeah,
the 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 string can be anything,
yeah,
right? You're saying, this is left side because this syntax always confuses me, but I get it. Like this is the left side. This is like icon position. It's just like it's
yeah.
a blank anything, and then it can be anything, and then that's going to get passed down, and that's props spread, and then you spread the props here. This is what I wanted. Okay, and I knew that I had seen it, but I hadn't played. Like I recognized it when I was skimming these files, doing some other work, but I didn't do anything directly with it. So I didn't. I hadn't interacted with it to like commit it to memory. But that's the idea. Now we can put anything we want here, and it will just get passed down directly to the button.
Well, let's take a look. Can we see how it's working?
Yeah, let's see if this is. So we're setting the state. We're setting the state true. We're setting the state false after success and after. So actually, I think what we can do is this. I was so after we succeed or after we fail, we're going to end up here anyways, and we'll turn off loading. We'll see if that gives us a desired result or not.
Okay.
And then disable is going to be true or false, and then our icon. This is the real question I'm wondering about: is whether or not the icon is actually going to um, change based on our loading state. Um, so this worked, but we did not, in fact, see the loading state, and that's kind of what I thought was going to happen.
Why do you think? Was it too fast? Our
No,
server actions are
no.
just so
I
efficient?
saw the bump when it actually came across.
Okay, okay.
Um, the label didn't change either, so
Oh, you're right. It did just say submit the whole time.
yeah. So
So how does this work? We pass a label, and then we put the icon on the left or the right of the button. But submit will always be there, right? Oh, no, no, you made it so that if loading is set to true, that there will be
Yeah.
no submit text. Okay, so never mind. Hmm.
So this is, yeah. So let's see, does it have something to do with, I don't know. The pattern in my head that I had originally works with like the the um, wow, the word is not, I mean the button, right? The native,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, native HTML button. Um, but now we're going through this component. Spinner gap. So I mean, I'm just gonna put one of those there. Yep, there it is. Okay, so that works. That's coming in. Um, let's check out. Let's see. Okay, let's delete that. Loading. Yeah, loading's all false. Oh, sure. Let's just sure. Thanks. We'll just repopulate that right there. Um, false, 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 false,
Hmm.
false. It's never true. It's never being set true. So that's a problem. So our action, can we, I mean, we're using this ref. I mean, this is a ref, right? So that's a hook inside of our submit handler, but this set loading, which is right here at the top, is not getting.
Oh, it's probably because those these React hooks, the setting doesn't resolve until the function is fully finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is why I feel like we've actually run into this before when we were still using controlled forms. Um, but it's why you can't like set loading and then do something with loading inside that same function and have the adjusted value. You only get that value after the function has finished. So
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but like this pattern should work. Like we
no, but I
call
mean
it and
like
then we hit loading true. I mean, this is the way that I've always
the
done this.
loading won't be set to true for anything that uses that loading property until this function is done running.
Hmm. Okay.
Like it's almost like do you have to like yeah no I think that's how that works, and I don't think you can get out of this by like setting up a separate function that just like calls set loading in the middle of it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So this is something to specifically to do with the server action stuff, that, right? Because
no, this is a React hook problem or issue. Um,
I
it's
mean,
why like if
I've definitely done handlers before where I put like a state loader at the top just like this, and then you will wait for some sort of a call to happen, and then you reset it back to. I've definitely done that
because
pattern before, and it
I thought
works.
like if you know when you have a handle change function that allows you to hit like get the value inside of an input as you're typing in.
Yep.
Like if you put the console log inside of the function, you'll always see the value one keystroke back.
Right. Yeah.
But if you put the console log outside
Yeah.
inside of like to do form, for instance, but not inside the function itself, you'll actually see the accurate.
Like where I have this console log.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but like set loading, I think that's why it's only showing false. I could be wrong, but I think that's why like it's not like asynchronous, but it's like the hooks don't resolve until all this finishes. I don't know. I have to think about that. Where have you done this
Hmm.
before? Do you have access to the code? Maybe we can
Um.
build it from a working example.
Yeah, I think some of the. our super secret um,
Hmm.
startup has stuff like that.
Where do you remember the component by chance? Actually,
Uh,
here, let me take a look. I might be able to find
it'd
it.
be part of the authentication, like sign in or let's see.
Okay, let me look
I
there.
can. Let's see. At least I feel like I'm not. I'm not.
Oh yeah, on sign in, you've got loading, set loading. So where is set
Yeah.
loading called?
So I've got this, call find token function. It's an async function. We set loading, and then we have different other locations where it's going to get set false, depending on. I set loading right at the top of the function, and then we're going to set some other state based on conditions.
And then you set it back to false in the catch.
Yeah, this pattern works. I'm thinking that it has something to do with the fact that it is a server action. But we're in a client component.
Yeah, we are in a client component. Yeah, you're not setting loading in the server action either. The server action is add task, but this handle submit's not marked as use server, so this is not a
Right. Yeah.
server action
Yeah.
setup.
Okay. Yeah. It's in the action. It's being triggered by the action on the form, but you are
Right.
right. That's why I'm kind of perplexed because I feel like this should just work. Maybe this is screwy still down here. That's very possible, but like it never
But you
even
are getting falses.
it
Yeah.
never even sets to
Okay.
true.
Do this for me. Remove the last set loading false outside of the try catch.
Oh.
Let's just see if that works.
Yeah. I wonder. It's not a bad idea. So that's all on load, but we haven't clicked anything yet, so that's fine. Let's repopulate. Hey, look at you,
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Genius. Okay, okay. I sabotaged us before. So that's we actually do need 2 calls. I was trying to eliminate those calls. Yeah, so it was just because okay. All
Well,
right.
let's try this. Does this work
Yeah.
now?
Oops. Whoa. True. Everything's true.
Only the truth.
So we'll get rid of this again, and then we get the same thing. Oh, that just went straight through without anything. So, like almost like it's not awaiting. So, not having these means it works, but then it never gets set back to false. Out here, it was not accepting it, but then it also didn't work if we have it in there in the catch block or the await block.
This is very interesting. Yeah, I wonder because I am looking at your code here. Yeah, I wonder if we need. It's almost like we need to call yet another separate function. I don't know.
Is like, are we awaiting here? Like, it is awaiting, but it kind of feels like it's just going straight through.
Wait, do this. Just
Yeah.
humor me on this. Can you set up another function that is just like I don't know, set loading or something like that?
I love it.
I just wonder if like it needs to resolve a separate function.
And then what do you want in here? Just set loading
Yeah, basically.
to false?
To whatever you pass a prop in to set loading.
Oh yeah. And then put this here, you saying?
Yeah, same with the one above too.
Oh, okay.
This is janky. I don't think this is gonna work, but I have a feeling that because I'm looking at the code that you have here, and there are other functions running within functions, which might
Yeah,
be
I
part of
did
why.
some of that for some organization and some reduction, but I'm not sure if that makes a difference. Well, we'll find out. No,
No,
it still
that's not
works
it.
all the same.
It does work. I'm really curious about that. What is there must be some established. There might actually also be custom hooks for this specifically. Have you ever used transition?
No, I have not. I mean, there's other libraries that do such things. I know, but I know that the manual way typically works. Like I said, I've done this before, and it's very perplexing.
Yeah, what's confusing me the most is just why does this not work, but it does work elsewhere, like in the app that you've done.
Hmm.
I think it's related to how React hooks, how to use state hooks specifically works, but
Yeah.
I don't know why here. Hmm.
I can't, like, it doesn't make any difference if we do something like this, right? Like put it inside the try. Would that make a difference? Nope. Didn't think so. Uh, yeah. Weird. Am I missing something super obvious?
Hmm.
Handle, submit. Because, I mean, again, this works. This sets it to true.
Yeah.
Get it set to true. So it sets to true. And then stuff, but then it instantly sets it back to false. So is this a batching, like
Yes. Yes. I think
the
that's
the
what's.
the the, the
It's a
batching?
batching.
Would we have to do a use effect to watch the no, because then we're going to set the loading state inside of a use effect that watches loading state and you get a loop. Yeah, no. But like how/where do we trigger um back to false again?
I'm not. I'm not sure, but I do think this is something we should research and
Okay.
potentially like
Yeah.
come back with a solution for next week because I'm very interested in how other people handle this. This must be a problem that others have run into.
Yeah, I mean I've had these types of confusions with use state stuff like this in the past, and I feel like back then I was probably just very much not building things properly, and I
Mm-hmm.
have not had an issue like this for quite a while. So I've been feeling like, okay, I finally have the whole like use state thing figured out. I know where to set state and how to like use those loops to trigger re-renders and to trigger interactivity and dynamic content. Um, and I haven't run into this problem like this for quite some time. That's why I'm so confused. 'Cause I'm like, this works. I know this works. What is going on? Hmm. I want. I don't know. I keep wanting to say that it has something to do with the server element to things. I mean, we're in a client component,
That is a different
but
thing. So
but
I mean, it's definitely a
the fact that
possibility.
this is a server action, I feel like, does it have something to? I mean, we're not returning anything here, but this await should be fine without having to return some, like, explicitly get something here, like, like a data or something, right?
Right.
Um, shouldn't have to do that. I mean, we're just awaiting the async call, and there is a certain amount of time where this is working before it's going to come back. And it didn't work. It had the same problem putting it down here. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I know that this didn't work before, and I know that we need to uh, end this for today. But um, this is my last. Oops. Let's reset so that we get get everything back. The icon still isn't popping up, so that's also broken. But yeah, it's just blanket false. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Well,
Hmm.
uh, always learning through issues. I mean, if everything just worked, then we wouldn't have anything else to learn, right?
This is true.
Okay. Well,
This is true.
I'll stop sharing here, and yeah, that was fun though. That was cool. We got the form extracted, and all of that server action stuff working well. The form reset was interesting. Um, and then we also looked into the catch-all props on the button as well, which is, now that I've actually done it and fully understand it, hopefully I've got that in my head for future now.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely using that in the future.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Um, yeah, any other closing thoughts there, Courtney?
Um, yeah, enjoy your weekend. Take a break from this. I know we'll talk a little after, but I mean, I'll probably code this weekend, but not as hard as I did this week.
Mm,
I'm going to choose some simple tasks.
yeah. Yeah, I'll be hitting stuff early tomorrow morning again. I gotta make up a little bit of lost time on that, but otherwise, yeah, we have
This guy
some other
never
fun
rests.
plans.
Hire this guy. Look at him. Pay him extra.
Well, I've got a deadline, right? I'm supposed to trying to get this done by the end of September and functional and everything. I got a lot of work yet to do. So, and I'm enjoying it now that I see the process in my head now. I see the next steps, and I just want to attack them. So,
That's a good place to be.
yeah, it feels good. All right. Well, thank you for anybody and everybody that joined us out there, and we will be back again next week.
Have a good week, y'all.
Peace. All right. So the broadcast has ended. I'm going to take us off live here as well.